Excellent connection. Geeft hij ook beeld? Oké. Probably. All right. Hi, ben ik. How does this work? Oké. Looks pretty stable. Let's see what they have. So hi guys, I don't know if I'm live or not, as always. Let's check my own channel here. I'm always a little bit hassling. One viewer. That's nice. That's probably myself. So just in case somebody joins on, what is it? Tuesday night, I think, eh? I'm here imaging the Crescent Nebula. So you're welcome to join. And I'll just wait a few minutes, see if anyone will join this live stream. Because as always, it is a bit of a spur of the moment thing. Looking good. So I'm cooling my camera at minus 15 degrees Celsius. It's the ASI 1600 Mono Pro. And let's check my guiding. How do I do that? Here. It's here somewhere. So, pretty damn accurate. Oh my god, now I remember, I should actually do the multi-star guiding. Whatever. We have good guiding right now, so I don't want to mess with it. There's still one viewer. Yeah. So normally I would image the Crescent Nebula in, what is it? May or June already, when the Milky Way just starts to come out. But we had some rough months, I would say. And so I had to wait until after holidays, actually. So, we're just returned from holidays. Now it's September, and I thought, well, let's check out what we can image now. And I saw that the Crescent Nebula and also the North American Nebula is right above, it's really in the zenith, actually, right above the city. And I just finished doing some planetary stuff, and I couldn't resist. I just wanted to image something, so that's the Crescent Nebula. So that's what I'm doing right now. I hope everyone is fine, or at least maybe 3 persons now. And perhaps it's a little bit of a stupid thing to do a live session on Tuesday night at 11:15. But I was so excited to do. This is my first deep sky target that I'm imaging in about, I would say, 3 months, something like that. So April, May was, I think, the final time that the final month I took some deep sky images. I know that I've imaged the Flaming Star Nebula, and after that I did the Monkey Head Nebula. And then we had just a streak of bad weather. Went on holidays. I had a traffic accident, a bicycle accident, recovering from that, and so I just started to get back into not astrophotography but planetary imaging. So for the past couple of, I can't see your chat, by the way. If you want to ask me anything, just do it. Welcome to the live stream anyway. But yeah, I thought I wanted to ease into not astrophotography but planetary imaging. So yeah, if you check out my live streams, you can see a couple of Jupiter live streams and Saturn live stream. And based on that, I think I don't see your chat, mate. Ah, oh my God, sorry guys. I think I went on talking for 10 minutes without actually seeing your chat. So I'm very sorry about that. So Noah Astro is here. Hi there. Hi Noah. I hope it is something with my internet connection on my smartphone. Miroslav Stigar is here. Hello, Miroslav. We have Finlay FinTGM. Hi. John from Brisbane, Australia. John, good morning to you, I would say. Sam is here. Hello, Sam. And Miroslav says greetings from Poland. Yeah, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Miroslav. NGC 7009 is my object for this night. Right. That's great, man. Yeah, we're close. So I thought my object is 6888, right? Is that the Crescent Nebula? I think so. 6888 NGC. Joshi is also here in the house. And from Mexico City, we have Enrique Bunecker. Buenos dias, I have to say, I think. Buenos dias, Enrique. Bienvenido. That's the only Spanish I know. Yeah, great to see you here. I was kind of worried that you were not tuning in, which is completely normal because I always do this spur of the moment thing whenever I have some clear skies and I'm set up and I feel like it. Yeah, I just flip on the live stream. So this is unplanned. And yeah, we can exchange information about what I am doing, what kind of deep. Yeah, you can see it. It's a Crescent Nebula. I can talk a little bit about the gear that I have set up for tonight. And yeah, I'm also interested in your astrophotography adventures, of course. So feel free to share them. We have Miroslav is Astro Tuvok. Yeah, I think we have had some conversation on Instagram, Astro Tuvok. So now I know you I know you better by your nickname than your real name. That's interesting. Greetings from Switzerland from Noah. Hello Noah. You pronounce it great. Thanks, Miroslav. Dave is here from North Carolina. Hello Dave. How are you? And Paul from Sydney. So that's absolutely fantastic. Noah says he's also currently imaging SH2 126. Oh, I have to think about that one. Can anyone help me? So Z3 Cool says been 9 months in the UK, but because of newborn, moving to Iceland. Wow. In a month with Portal 2 Sky. Oh, can I visit you sometime? Because I'm here imaging at Portal Class 8 Skies at the moment. But anyway, I, of course, do have my H alpha filter here. So let me explain a little bit what I'm doing here. I have set up my Skywatcher EQ6R Pro in combination with the Celestron Edge HD 8-inch telescope. And for deep sky, I always use the 0.7 reducer. So I attach the 0.7 reducer to the Edge HD 8-inch, so that I have a focal length of about, what is it? Like 1400 something, 1450 millimeters. And of course, that also turns the Edge HD into an f7. And of course, I have attached filter wheel, ZWO 8 precision filter wheel, and my ASI 1600 Mono Pro. And as you can see, maybe you saw it on my channel, but I recently changed the fan of the ASI 1600 Mono Pro because it stopped working. And yeah, it was actually pretty easy to replace the broken fan. And yeah, the new fan is working again, so that's nice. And it's very hot in the Netherlands, or at least according to Dutch weather conditions. It's about 25 to, I think it was 27 degrees during the day. So I'm cooling at minus 15 now. Okay, so that's a little bit about the gear that I'm using. Greetings, Wido. This is Jiffy Joff. Hello, Jiffy Joff. How are you doing? And congrats! Yeah, we are really interested in your Border Class 2 Skies Z3 row. Cool. I cannot pronounce that. Hux from Boston. Hello, Celeston Lopes. And yeah, I don't know. This is, of course, yeah, this is deep sky imaging. So that is maybe not the most dynamic thing I can show you. As you can see, I'm just taking here. Oh, good that I check. I'm just taking here these long exposure pictures of the Crescent Nebula, and I'm always going for about 5 minutes. So I was just thinking tonight I will only collect H alpha, and tomorrow night I will do another session to also capture S2 and O3. And I think the most challenging part about the Crescent, which I never completely worked out for me, is that you have here the Crescent Nebula, and that is a very strong H alpha signal. So you can already see this one exposure, 5-minute exposure. You can see the structure of the Crescent pretty well. But what is actually difficult is to also get the O3 signal out. I'm always struggling with that, and maybe it's because of my O3 filters. They are 7 nanometer filters. Maybe I should go for a narrower narrowband filter to get out this bluish, because you have these bluish shock shells around the Crescent Nebula, and that is super beautiful to capture them as well. But anyway, let's see. SH2 126 is somewhat of a faint emission nebula in Lacerta, which also happens to have a faint dark nebula inside it. Oh, that's great, man. Sounds very sounds very interesting. I have to take a sip of water here. And yeah, it's on the west coast of the Isle of Wight, with views south over the sea. So finally get some good south low targets. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, what can I say? Yeah, the Crescent Nebula, I chose it because it is close to the zenith, so I don't have a lot of turbulence. Hopefully. And yeah, maybe on a personal note, yesterday evening I was at the 8 o'clock news. In the Netherlands, that's still a thing. We have this national 6 o'clock news, 8 o'clock news, and I was on it. But unfortunately, it was not because of Astoforum, but because of the fact that my youngest daughter has contracted COVID. So she has corona. And she's fine, by the way. She doesn't have any symptoms, so she's running around the house and she feels great. But because of that, everybody in the class had to stay home because those are the regulations still in the Netherlands that if one individual gets it, then the whole class has to stay home. So they were interviewing parents, and of course, I was the parent with the child that had COVID. So I had to say something in front of the camera, and then it came on the 8 o'clock news. And some of you guys, you noticed me, of course, people from the Netherlands, and yeah, they started sending me direct messages like, "Hey, Astroform, Astroform, you were on national television." So that was pretty funny, actually. Anyway, strange story. Um, we have also You have a really great field of view for this object. Yes, Miroslav. Um, yeah, I actually I planned this, or I should say, I think this evolved over the years, where I was thinking about how to capture smaller objects in the night sky, because I think like almost everyone or most of you, I also started my deep sky imaging sessions using like a rather wide field refractor, like an 80 millimeter refractor with about 480 millimeter focal length. And actually, I still have that refractor. It's and actually, I try to build up my that refractor with my AVX mount again, because I'm planning actually on having two rigs. But anyway, maybe I'm drifting off. But yeah, of course, when you use the 80 millimeter and 500 millimeter focal length refractor, you do get a super nice wide field image of the Crescent, not only the Crescent Nebula, but there's a whole area of rich H alpha gases. You probably saw it already from other pictures on Instagram or Astrobin. So you can have this wide field picture, but it is very difficult to also get like this really close up image of the Crescent Nebula. And so, yeah, and I also had this with galaxies. So when I wanted to image some smaller galaxies through my, for instance, the Whirlpool galaxy, Pinwheel galaxy, the refractor with 500 millimeter focal length isn't quite enough to really get the details of those smaller galaxies. So that's when I decided to check for other telescopes, and I really did a long time about it. Actually, I first bought. It was really over the top, and I couldn't make it quite work. It was a Ritchie Chrétien telescope, but it was an f12 telescope with I think 2400 millimeter focal length. And yeah, you can check out some of my videos last year. I have that thing set up, and at the time, I really thought it would be great because I would get an extra reducer, and there's some kind of mosquito here. An extra reducer, and but I couldn't make it work. The Ritchie Chrétien telescope it turned out to be quite challenging to collimate it perfectly. Um, and also, when I started the imaging session, it was very difficult to do a polar alignment at that focal length of 2400 millimeters. So I was struggling and struggling, and in the end, I decided to return that telescope. And then I bought the Edge HSD 8-inch, which is giving me this image right now. And I really love that telescope. It came collimated out of the box. Um, and like I said, it has a 2000 millimeter focal length, but with the reducer, the 0.7 reducer, I can get down to 1400 millimeters. And in combination with the ASI 1600 Mono Pro, it gives me this super nice field of view, which allows me to actually image smaller targets like the Crescent Nebula. So I was also I was curious about how this would look with this setup because I never tried it before. Oh, I missed some of your messages, of course. Oh, nobody did. Hello from California, Bortle 9. 100. Now, frisky sausage. You live in a big city then, probably. LA or San Diego or... Kosa says my telescope is cooling down and I am going to capture some footage of the planets. Yeah, Kosa, that's perfect because Jupiter and Saturn are still very nicely visible in the night sky, although they passed their opposition. Opposition was in August, but they are still pretty bright targets in the night sky, so it's perfect to capture them. So I hope you will succeed. And I actually did some live streams, and today I put up some tips that at least I have learned from imaging the planets. So yeah, if you're interested, you can check that out. Let's see, what do we have? Sorry to hear about your daughter. Hope everything will turn out okay. Yeah, I also hope that. But I think she will be fine. We will get a retest tomorrow on Wednesday. So I'm probably I think she will test negative. So hopefully then next week everybody can return to school again. And your real name is Jurgen, not too far east of your location. So is that then still the Netherlands or Germany? Martine in the house. Hi, Martine. Looking at clear blue skies here, but breezy. Still about 3 hours from sunset. Yeah, that's interesting. I find that amazing, actually, that people all over the world can join the stream. And yeah, Martine, if you have a clear sky, do you have intentions to image something tonight, or to look at the planets, or maybe a new target? Let me know, man. How do you get such a clear image of deep space objects while you are living in a light-polluted city? Tom asks. I'm just getting into astronomy and stumbled on your account. Greetings from Tilburg. Yeah, of course, many people wonder how this can be done. And the answer to that secret is when you live in heavy light polluted areas, you can engage in what is called narrowband imaging. And narrowband imaging basically means that you have filters in front of your camera, and those filters they only accept light, or they only let through light in a very small bandwidth of the light spectrum. So, for instance, I'm only imaging here a 7 nanometer bandwidth, and that allows me actually to block out all of the light pollution in the city. But at the same time, I'm not capturing broadband light. I'm only capturing very small bandwidth, actually, in the red part of the light spectrum. But at that particular bandwidth, you can capture a lot of hydrogen gases that are present in space. So that's how I do it, and that's why I can get this awesome monochrome image of the Crescent Nebula. And Tom, what I'm then doing, I will stack all of these images together because this is a sequence, as you can see. So here you can see that I am collecting, I don't know yet, but maybe 30 images. Let's plus it a little bit. 30 images in using the hydrogen alpha filter of the Crescent Nebula, and I will use a couple of other filters, and then I will combine that into a multicolor picture. So it would take too long to explain all of it in this live stream, but I do have some. I think last year I made a video on filters, broadband and narrowband filters, and how you can use them to improve what is called your signal to noise ratio. And my stomach is making sounds, I don't know, but I should lose weight, so I will ignore that. Let's see. That was a very long-winded answer. Okay, are you going to there for years? Hey, Enrique, do you get good clear skies in Mexico? Yeah, I'm actually interested about that also. Martine asks, and Miroslav said, I'm waiting for the beautiful O3 bubble around this hydrogen. It will be amazing. Yes, Miroslav, but maybe I'm using like 7 nanometer O3 filter. And for some reason, maybe also because I'm in the city, I never been able to capture it that well. But hopefully, I will have a go at it tomorrow also because it's also new moon now, so the signal should be pretty good. There are some clouds. Actually, let's check that out. I always have to check where I am because I have two different screens. So let's see. We have the satellite picture here. Let's refresh it. Okay. So yeah, it is not completely clear, as always in the Netherlands and in Europe, in Western Europe especially. So we have the UK over here, Scotland, Ireland, and I'm here. Now, I'm not these dots. They are always wrong because I'm zoomed in. But I'm actually in the middle of the Netherlands. This is the Netherlands, by the way, for some people who wouldn't know. Because it's such a small country. I would not expect every one of you to know where the Netherlands is. So this is Germany, France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and this is the Netherlands. And I'm right here in the middle, close to Amsterdam, in Utrecht. So yeah, let's switch back to the Crescent. 6-inch SCT, 3 times Barlow. You're talking about gear. So I'm guessing, Kosa, that is your rig to capture the planets, right? The 6-inch Smith Cassegrain with a 3 times Barlow lens. Yeah, good setup, I would say. And hopefully you will capture some of the cloud bands of Jupiter. I don't know if the red spot is visible tonight. And sometimes you have these beautiful transitions of the Galilean moons in front of Jupiter. Actually, I tried to capture Io transit last Saturday, but for some reason, I don't know what I did wrong, but I made a couple of videos, but those videos they didn't get saved on my mini PC. Probably because I was out of space or something, but I couldn't find them the next morning, and I was really devastated because I could see in the live view, I could see Io transiting in front of Jupiter. So that was awesome to see live, actually, or at least on the laptop. And I hope that next time I will be able to capture such a transit because it would be awesome to make a time lapse video of that. I have seen some people do that, and it looks awesome. Two Hand Yuk asks, hey, Two Hand Yuk, welcome again to the stream. Do you use a software app to Polaroid? Yeah, I am actually still using SharpCap Pro. So you have SharpCap, and SharpCap is imaging software that you can download for free. But you also have SharpCap Pro, and that includes a polar alignment procedure. And I have used it many times, but I have to say it works very well for refractor telescopes with, I think, a focal length of 500 millimeters, something like that. But I'm already struggling a little bit more with my current setup. So I am now at 1500 millimeters focal length, more or less. It takes me more effort. Sometimes plate solving doesn't work that well because I'm zoomed in a lot, and then the stars shift a little bit around the field of view, so they do not form these crisp round stars. And then SharpCap struggles a little bit more to plate solve. And actually tonight I was a bit frustrated with it because I wanted to polar align again. Because I polar aligned on my refractor a couple of days ago, and tonight I wanted to polar align again with my 1500 millimeter focal length, but the plate solving didn't work. And I don't know why. I think it was a little bit hazy also, so sometimes because of the clouds. It doesn't pick up enough stars. But anyway, long story short, if you have any suggestions about good alternatives to polar line, especially to polar line with a larger focal length telescope, I'm happy to hear about it. Bloodstone. Bloodstone. Hello, from Zion Canyon, Utah. That sounds great. I know all these states, of course, in the US, but I've never visited. I've only been to, yeah, I'm really a tourist. I've only been to New York once, to Washington once, and Los Angeles, in the neighborhood of Los Angeles. So it would be great to also visit other states with lower border, like low dark sides. I saw that large parts in the west of the US, they have beautiful dark skies. So it would be awesome to go there and image. We're not so lucky in Western Europe. We have a lot of cities and a lot of people, so we have also a lot of light pollution, unfortunately. And Hafeno says hi. Hello, Hafeno. I'm running behind in the chat. Dope, dope. Pray for you. Crisp skies with that 3 times. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully. I think tomorrow it will also be clear in the Netherlands, so I will give the O3 filter a go. A good evening from Miami, Gary says. Hello, Gary. Bienvenido. I've also been to Miami. Yeah. Why did I forget about that? Very nice. You have Ocean Drive, of course. You have beautiful beachfront. A lot of cruise ships leaving from Miami to the Caribbean. So great place to be, I think. But not great in terms of astrophotography, I would say, if you are in the city center of Miami. Martin retracted the message. Howdy all, Mr. Watcha is in the house, and Tim Yates says, hello Wido, I'm from Tennessee. Hi Tim. Tim Yates, I think I saw you before on the live stream, right? So welcome. Ligas says, greetings from East Frisia. All right, that's Germany, right? Doing some 8 minutes exposure on the North America Nebula, if I'm correct, NGC 7000. But school don't let me make many of them. Yeah. Ligas, you can of course automate your rig a little bit. So like I show you here, I'm using Sequence Generator Pro. And yeah, what I did a focusing routine, of course, and I align everything. So that was a lot of work. But now that everything is running, I can just go, yeah, like I could leave the sequence as it is now, and it would just continue to take pictures of the Crescent Nebula. And yeah, I also have PhD too, so I can look at my guiding. But that's actually also automated. So guiding is pretty good. Also because the Crescent Nebula is so high in the sky. So yeah, it's perfect. When it's in the zenith, usually I get very good guiding figures in PhD too. But actually, I'm a bit worried now because I see that there's not a lot of stars visible at the moment. And that is probably because we have some high-hanging hazy clouds in the Netherlands. Anyway, but yeah, maybe you can also skip one school day. I don't know what your parents would say. I always go to school. Always go to school. That's the best thing to do. Thanks for the explanation. I will check it out the video for sure. Yeah, Tom. And of course, as you are in Tilburg and I'm in Utrecht, we can also talk in Dutch if you'd like. I could explain what I'm doing here in Utrecht. And the best thing to do that is, I think, maybe on Instagram. You can send me a direct message on at Astoforum. Gary, Wido, do you have Nina? Oh, yay. I have been very impressed with it, with how complete it is for a free software. Yeah, Gary, I didn't, and I know that a lot of people are using Nina, so I'm sure that it is great software to use. Um, and the main thing for me is that I started using Sequence Generator Pro, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I think 2 years ago. And yeah, I figured out everything there is to know about Sequence Generator Pro. So, and I bought it, of course. I don't know for how much. I think it was like 30 or 40 euros or dollars. And yeah, I was just, of course, I figured out how to set up equipment. So here you have an equipment manager right here. So you in Sequence Generator Pro, you can set up your camera, your filter wheel. I have to select this one. So your camera, your filter wheel, focuser. I don't have a focuser yet. I should get one. If anyone knows a good focuser for the Celestron Edge HD, let me know. Telescope connection, plate solving, you can set it up. Auto guiding, you can set it up. Your preferences. You can even. I don't also. I don't have a rotator. I'm rotating myself. My hand is a rotator. Anyway, um, so yeah, I figured out how to use Sequence Generator Pro, and I have been using it ever since. That's basically why I am still using this, and probably because I have an astrophotography channel, I should check out Nina. But I also see that a lot of other astrophotographers are doing that, and they are making videos on it. So if you Google Nina software, you will definitely get a lot of videos about how to use it as well. But I have been happy with Sequence Generator Pro because yeah, it's also very reliable. It just works for me. And when something works, I'm a little bit hesitant to change the setup. Okay. Jiffy Joff is off. Thanks for the broadcasting. Clear skies. Clear skies. Jiffy. Martin, I'm still working on getting my mounts to be guided by my guide scope and guide camera using PhD2. No luck getting it to calibrate. Mount is connected via ASCOM and it appears to be connected okay. Okay, that's strange. So you can connect your telescope and you can also connect your guide cam then. So both are connected, but for some reason it isn't working. So the only thing I can help you with, Martin, is to show my PhD2 guiding and how it's running right now. So here we are in PhD2. I'm a bit afraid to check all these things. But what I usually do is here, you can click on this little USB thing. And then you can, of course, yeah, connect your camera and your mount. What sometimes goes wrong with me is that PhD2 sometimes selects your imaging camera instead of your guiding camera. So you have to check that. It's a stupid mistake to make, but I have made it. So that's maybe something you can check out, whether or not the guide camera is selected instead of the imaging camera. And I have yeah, you can see it here. So I have the EQ mod because I have a Skywatcher mount. So I have the EQ mod software running. It also took quite some effort to set up EQ mod, I have to say. And I have some videos on that. I don't know what kind of mount you have. But anyway, yeah, and then what I am always doing, I'm connecting, and then I'm, of course, first checking the loop. So if you click on this particular button, your telescope will make 1 second or 2 second pictures of the sky. And of course, then you can select the guide star and click on this crosshairs button. And then it will select the star, it will calibrate, and it will start auto guiding. Anyway, that's the short version of it. I'm always referring to my videos. That's maybe a little bit boring, but I do also have a video on selecting a guide scope and also, how to set up PSD2. So if you want to check that out, maybe hopefully I explained something to get it working for you. Because I like Martin. We have had a lot of pleasant conversations, and I really hope you get into deep sky astrophotography as well, Martin. I hope you will get it working. Um, Good luck to everybody. I think that is a bot. Nederlands, Max Verstappen. Hey, Roman Bourgeois. Yeah, Roman, Max won last Sunday in our own country. So he won the Dutch Grand Prix. We were very proud. Tim Yates, is that the Cygnus loop? Sorry, I'm new at this. It looks familiar, but I'm not sure. No, Tim, this is not the Cygnus loop. But it's easy to be confused. I am actually imaging the Crescent Nebula. So this is NGC 6888. And it is close to the Cygnus loop. It is also in Swan, in the constellation Swan. But it is a little bit, if I'm correct, it is a little bit further up north and towards towards the west. It's close to the North American Nebula, the southern region, and I think the Cygnus loop is a little bit more towards the south of the southern constellation. Anyway, so this is actually a great nebula to image. Mr. Washa says, yeah, got that IO transit captured. Oh, I am so jealous at you. Great job. But my C5 isn't best at planetary. Yeah, of course that's always a bit tricky. And on the one hand, I would say go for planetary imaging if you're interested in it, even if you have a low focal length telescope. But yeah, to have really a high quality picture, you need to step your focal length up. So you need a telescope of at least 2,000 millimeters, or maybe 3,000, or even more, to really get some great surface details of the planets. But I'm interested in that IO transit. If you have it, I hope you will post it somewhere. Eriko says ciao. Hello, Eriko. Would you recommend Sequence Generator Pro over astrophotography tool? I'm not sure, because I also didn't use astrophotography tool a lot. What I did use is in my early days when I was still using a DSLR camera, I was using Backyard EOS. And I am not sure if you're familiar with it. You have also Nikon EOS, by the way. The Backyard EOS I found it always a very pleasant, easy to use software program where you have a focusing area where you can really get pinpoint focused on the star. You can plan a nice sequence in Backyard EOS. You can also do dithering and connect it to your PhD guiding in Backyard EOS. So that's what I've used. And I think after that, astrophotography tool became more popular, actually. But then I was making the switch to a dedicated, cooled astrophotography camera, and I decided on Sequence Generator Pro because I saw some very useful videos out there that showed how to connect your camera, how to connect your filter wheel. So I started using that. Tim Yates is a big fan. Hey, Chuck is in the house. Hello, Chuck. How are you? Nice to see you, man. You had a very nice, very beautiful live stream of the sun. I saw last, was it yesterday or the day before that? And just when I entered Chuck's live stream, a cloud appeared in front of the sun. So I'm not sure whether or not I had something to do with it, Chuck. But if I did, I apologize. Yeah, no multi-star guiding in PhD too. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I forgot about it. I forgot to check on multi-star guiding. Um, a bit stupid, but at the same time, right now, I'm getting like zero point 0.4, zero point 0.4, zero point 0.6 accuracy in my guiding. So I'm going to leave it as it is because, yeah, I'm getting accurate guiding figures here. And yeah, I'm still quite happy with the way the Crescent Nebula looks. And I think I have maybe not the best, but I have rather, yeah, they're maybe a little bit elongated. But you know what my issue is? I am still, I'm at 1500 millimeter focal length here with my Edge HD 8-inch. But at the same time, I'm still using a very small guide scope. So I'm using a guide scope that has about, I think, 117 millimeters of focal length. It's the Orion 50 millimeter mini guide scope. And yeah, amazingly, actually, it guides quite well, even at this focal length. So I was looking for a replacement of that guide scope in April. But I didn't actually buy a new one yet. And I know you can also engage in off-axis guiding, but yeah, like I said before, if something works, I'm always a little bit reluctant to change something that works. But I would say, if I would recommend a guiding with an Edge HD, of course you would want to get into off-axis guiding or get a larger focal length guide scope at one point. Anyway. Chuck is not imaging tonight. Bad storms are expected and they are warning about flooding. Oh, Chuck, I hope you will be fine. Um, yeah, that's also why I'm imaging every night now, because it's September and I know this is the last month in the Netherlands or in Western Europe where we can actually get some nice clear skies. And from October onwards, usually we will be in autumn, and then we are lucky to get maybe 1 or 2 nights every month. And we basically will have to wait until March. So you can expect maybe a lot of tutorial or explanatory videos from October onwards. Because that's really a time to process the data you have collected from March until September. And the flooding, yeah, we had some flooding in the Netherlands as well early on in the summer. So we have the River Maas. I'm not sure if you are familiar with it. It's called the Meuse in French, or I don't know. I think it's the Maas in English as well. And we had some severe flooding in the Netherlands, but Belgium was even worse. So I'm lagging behind, so I will be scrolling through your chats here. Well, let's pick it out right here. Backyard EOS and APT have similar interfaces. Okay, I didn't know that. Gary is chatting to Enrique. My family is from Mannheim, Germany. I send things to them from the USA. Okay, and Lubo is trying to explain to Martin what he can do to fix the backlash of his mount. And Ollie is here in the house. Ollie Espro, good morning, because he's in Australia. Good morning, Ollie. I am focused on the Crescent Nebula, as you can see. And Enrique is stuck in APT. But I'm seriously considering Nina. Not enough money for HGP. But Sequence Generator Pro, is that now... I don't know. Is this really so expensive? I remember paying, because I paid once, I think maybe about... I don't know anymore. I thought it was about 50 euros or dollars. Chuck Daystar's Quark gave wonderful sunspots yesterday. Yes, and I think Chuck also turned it into a time-lapse video. Hey guys, anyone can recommend me a field flattener for the Explorer Scientific ED80 APO triplet? I have the Orion, and in one of my corners deforms the field quite substantially. Okay. I don't know about Explorer Scientific, but I have like an 8480 millimeter telescope, an APO refractor from Telescope Service. That's a German brand. And for that telescope, I'm using they have a TS flat, and actually it doesn't reduce the focal length. It doesn't reduce the focal length at all of my telescope, and it gives me pinpoint stars also towards the edges of my field of view. So if you're interested, I can send you a link to that later on, to that field flattener. We have the Hotech 2-inch. It's great for a good price, says Gary. So we have also Tiago in the house from Portugal. And James, I have set up my rig in my living room. Wow. So are you going to open up your roof in the living room, James? Trying to switch from EQ mod to green swamp. Okay. Lots of little check boxes to look over. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it always takes time to set up these things, and that's also why I'm saying, like, if it works, if you got something working, whether or not it's in Nina or APT or Backyard EOS or SGG Pro, I'm hesitant to change it. If it works, it works. So we also have Siegfried in the house. So I'm actually amazed that it's still clear because there were some clouds rolling in. Let's check it out. So still clear. I'm actually amazed that I'm getting such a clear picture of the crescent. Oh, I lost my internet connection. Hopefully not. European satellite images. Here we are. Yeah, I'm lucky. So I'm here in the where my mouse is hovering. Yeah, it's still hazy. It's not. I'm not getting the best pictures, I think. But anyway, it switched to 9:30, so this is not accurate. Oh, what happened? Maybe go back. Okay, cloud radar. Yeah, here in the Netherlands we have this cloud radar, but I don't like it at all because it's not giving me a satellite image of what's happening. Satellite images. Okay, for some reason it doesn't show the picture. And what I'm also always checking is at meteoblue.com you have astronomical seeing conditions. I really like that. So yeah, you can see here that I think we are lucky in the Netherlands now, but if you look at the arc seconds here, it's still above 2, so that's actually not so good. So that means that there's still a lot of I think maybe a lot of haze in the sky, a lot of clouds, and that so we don't get a really pinpoint clear picture of the Crescent Nebula tonight, unfortunately. I think under the best of conditions in the Netherlands, this would be 1.4 or 1.5, something like that. But anyway, we do have a new moon, so it's perfect tonight for imaging. So I'm already happy, and so I'm hoping here that tomorrow evening it will be better. You see it, the arc seconds will drop to below 2, and yeah, hopefully I can catch some of that O3 in the Crescent Nebula. That's what I'm hoping for, actually. Okay. So 42 people, but I can only show you the Crescent Nebula. I'm very grateful that you are joining the live stream. Um, yeah, what can we say? it's good to see that you are helping each other out on the live stream. So I'm already happy to facilitate this live stream so that fellow astrophotographers can get into touch with one another and exchange information. That's also why what the Astroforum channel is for. Um, Martin says, I should go to sleep. My rig is working autonomously on the dark shark in my garden. Lazy astronomy with the ASI Air. Good, Martin, you got it working. So, yeah, I know. I usually also go to sleep, but not with the Edge HD 8-inch. Because I noticed that the image can shift a little bit because I'm at a high focal length. Sometimes I need to readjust my focus in the middle of the night, and actually, I'm still not having this automated focuser. So I have to do that manually. Gary asked, do you image from a balcony? If so, do you use anti-vibration pads? I'm hesitant to say, but I do image from my balcony, and I don't have these classic vibration pads that you can get for your equatorial mount, but I do have some rubber. How do you say that? Rubber pads, more or less, that can actually dampen the shocks when somebody walks on the balcony, and that works pretty well. But not perfectly. So if I'm close to the telescope and I walk around, I can see some of the. Yeah, I can actually see some movement in the stars when I'm focusing. So that's not great. It's actually really not great. And I also had one time, like I think a couple of cats or something, they were fighting on my balcony, and then also the stars shifted a little bit in my long exposure pictures. So actually, I am looking I'm looking for a site outside of the city of Utrecht, still maybe a little bit close to my home, maybe maximum 1 hour or half an hour drive, where I can also set up my gear. That would be so awesome to have that. I'm still looking into that though. So BS is giving me $20. Wow, that is so great. Thank you very much, BS. And yes, the $20 will be spent on more astrophotography gear, astrophotography reviews, astrophotography information that hopefully is useful for you that I can record on my channel. And by the way, if you have any suggestions about topics that I should talk about on my channel, let me know. But I'm very grateful, BS. Thank you very much. That's so awesome. Um, Sorry, I have trouble keeping up with your stream. I should install an iPad here instead of my phone. I will do that next time. That is awesome. I wish you would do some processing on it. Okay, but the question is on what? You probably mean the Crescent Nebula, I think, Tim, or not? Enrique says, bad joke. I'm sure you know it. The German says that Dutch is like drunk German trying to speak English. I know you can slap my head for that. Enrique, I will. Because, of course, you know that the German language is not a real language. The Dutch language is real and the German language is a fake language. But we only know that in the Netherlands. No. Actually, German and Dutch are very, very alike. I think when I speak Dutch with some German accent in it, then people will probably understand me in Germany, and vice versa. And it would sound like a drunk German. I think, yeah, you're probably right. Um, Tiago, I will always check the weather on Telescopius website. Oh, I didn't know about that. Telescopius. Okay, I will check it out. Thanks for the tip, Thiago. Thiago Ramos. Okay, I don't know if Chuck is still here. There's a question for Chuck whether or not he will use his Explore Scientific 127, I think, millimeter aperture refractor. That is also a great telescope, by the way. That is a really awesome telescope. I really thought a lot about getting the Edge HD or the Explore Scientific 127. And in the end, I decided on the Edge because it's a little bit a jack of all trades, if I pronounce that correctly. Yeah, with the Edge HD, you have a little bit longer focal length and a bigger aperture. So you can also do, for instance, some planetary imaging with it. And at the same time, when you have a reducer, you can do this kind of stuff I'm showing you. So that's why actually I have bought the Edge HD last year. But if you are into deep sky imaging and you want some pinpoint stars and you want a perfect telescope for that, yeah, the telescope over the Explore Scientific 127 is a perfect telescope. I'm unsure which equatorial system to use. APT can convert to J2000. Green Swamp. That's actually Green Swamp. Is that a software program? I thought it was a joke. Sorry about that. Green Swamp. I thought maybe some swamp in Florida or something. The Everglades. Don't know about Green Swamp. Anyone? Enrique has to laugh. Yeah, thanks Enrique for understanding the as a broma. It's like I'm joking in Spanish, I think. As a broma. Gary says Telescopius is a really great website. I really find it useful, even more so than Escobin. Now I'm really curious, Gary. And Gary knows a lot about telescopes. I'm always getting good advice and tips and additional comments and tips on my videos from Gary. So now I will definitely check it out. Martin says, cheers, Wido. Thanks for the great interactive chat session. Thank you so much, Martin. And like I said before, Martin, I really enjoy the conversations we are having. We are learning from each other. And you have been visiting the Netherlands, you said. So that's also great to hear. And yeah, I hope you get that PhD too running, Martin. And if I can help you with that, I will. I will. Have you ever tried K-stars and equals on the Raspberry Pi? It's like a poor man's version of the ASI Air. No. No, that's the short answer. I didn't, but what I have to, what I do, because I also don't own the ASI Air, so I can say something about it. What I actually did is I bought a second-hand mini PC, like just a regular Dell mini PC, without a screen. So it's just the PC. So small factor. I think it's about 15 centimeters. So what's that in inches? Like 10 inches or something, or even less. And yeah, it's just on my balcony, and it has like 6 USB 3.0 ports. It has a hard disk, and I'm actually remotely connecting to that mini PC, and it works, as you can see. So yeah, that's actually what I'm checking if my sequence is still running, but it seems to be going okay. I have 18 frames here. So no, I didn't experience where I didn't explore the Raspberry Pi and what you can do with it. But I know that some people are really resourceful with that Raspberry Pi. So great to hear about it. And Gary says Green Swamp Server is an open source mount control software. Aha. It has a really neat 3D real life display of your mount's orientation. Wow, I didn't know that either. So I learned 2 things on my own stream about Telescopius and about Green Swamp Server. I will check that out, people. And The green swamp. So that is that an alternative then also to Escom? Hmm? Now I'm curious. I think the ASIR runs on the Pi. Okay, I don't know anything about Raspberry Pi, but Eugene knows. James Haney says, "Gotcha! I've done some Arduino stuff. Oh, I really have to look into that." Chuck, thanks a lot for the $5, man. Thank you. I will put them back in your account when I'm looking at your live stream. Thanks so much. Um, and yeah, Chuck, I hope you will have some clear skies soon again. I did see that you had a good streak of solar live streams on your channel, and Chuck's channel is exploding. And I also saw that you are on Twitter now, right, Chuck? So everybody who doesn't, I can't imagine that the 46 people here don't know about Chuck. But if you don't, go to his channel. And yeah, you have some great um, how does it called Instagram. You have some great YouTube shorts as well, of course. James Heaney. I just learned about Green Swamp. Yeah, Green Swamp. I don't know. Not Ascom. Oh, it does replace EQ mod. Oh, thank you. I didn't know, James. Because yeah, I do think that EQ mod it looks a little bit from the 80s. So let me show you EQ mod. When was EQ mod developed actually? I don't know. So yeah, it displays all the information I need: our RA and deck, and yeah, the position of the mount, and what do we have? You can also enlarge this, right? Oh, whoa. Yeah. So this is how I set up EQ mod, by the way. So I can do everything with EQ mod, but I do think that the look and feel, it's a little bit, yeah, north, south, west, east with these big buttons. It works, but it's not the most up to date software. I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think it has been around for quite some time. So I will definitely check the Green Swamp stuff out. Hope I will not get drowned in Green Swamp. Um, Quiff did a Green Swamp video. Quiff he does a lot of videos. I think every day he's online. Good to see you. Your reviews of the EQ6R Pro helped me to narrow it down. Okay, that's great to hear, Sentil. Enrique. Sure, you know Chuck. Everybody knows him. Come on. So I hope I pronounced that in a good American fashion. I did look at my channel stats, and about half of you are from the US. So that's definitely my biggest group of people nationwide. So I said that in my previous stream, I have to work on my accent. Try to get rid of that Dutch German like accent. So we'll take some lessons. Good to see you. The great red spot will be perfect tomorrow night, Wido. Hoping for clear 50-50, they say. Yeah, boss. I hesitated up to the last moment whether or not I should do Deep Sky or just do another planetary session again. And I was just yeah, I was checking the weather and I saw it was a new moon, um, clear skies, and I didn't do a deep sky session in quite a long time. And I did do some live streams of Jupiter and Saturn with some mediocre pictures I ended up with Jupiter and Saturn. I posted them on Instagram, by the way, and on YouTube. So if you're interested in the end results of the live streams, then you can check that out. But anyway, um, I think in the end, I am more of a deep sky imager as compared to a planetary imager. But I always, I already say this. I'm always excited when these planets are at opposition. But during the final years, it's like I think the gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn, they are at opposition when it's summertime. And I usually spend a couple of weeks with my family. And my family, I have I have two daughters and one wife, just one. And they take up a lot of stuff. So they take a lot of stuff with them. And I don't have any space yet in my car to also put a rig in. So I usually end up just taking my DSLR camera and do some wide field imaging sometimes, but that's about it. Then when I get back, then of course the opposition is already gone of the two planets, and then I'm getting back into deep sky imaging again. But I'm glad that this year at least I captured some Jupiter and Saturn views live. And let's see, who do we have? You can use your mouse as a telescope controller in EQ mode. Yep, that's true. Whiskey 911 says Chuck is Astro Jesus. Now, Chuck, don't know if you agree, but agree with that. But you sure have a very good channel. Gary, when you decided to sell the 127, it blew my mind. Wow. And then we have also, is this Chinese or Japanese? I'm not sure, but welcome to the channel. And yeah, I'm still just showing you the Crescent Nebula. I'm sorry about that. Maybe I'm a little bit boring you with the Crescent, but I have such a nice view and I don't want to mess anything up. So I'm already going at 20 H alpha pictures here, 5 minute pictures, and I think I will be trying to get like 50 or something. 50 for each of the narrowband filters. So 50 HA, 50 S2, and 50 O3. Because, yeah, I don't know. Especially the O3, I'm jealous at all the people, I think including Chuck, who have a super nice image of the Crescent Nebula with the blue shock shells. Shock shells. Shock shells. I really want to capture them as well. So maybe I have to change filters. I'm still using 7 nanometer filters, and I saw some people using 3 nanometer filters, and they got a better signal to noise ratio. Anyway. And Ollie sends me 5 Australian. Are those dollars, Ollie? And thank you very much, of course, Ollie. And what can I say? Ollie has his own astrophotography channel on YouTube as well, so check him out. And of course, I'm always interested in people who are in the southern hemisphere. So Ollie lives in Australia. And yeah, you have some amazing deep sky images or deep sky targets that we cannot capture from the northern hemisphere. So, and I'm trying to think of a couple, and I'm a Northie, so I have to do my best. What is the most famous? I always have to think about it. But Ollie has check out his channel. He has some awesome deep sky astrophotography images of the southern hemisphere. Klaus is. Oh, guys, you're paying me. Oh, so great, man. Klaus says I bought a 10-inch Meet Alex 90, making planetary photos, but quickly turned to deep sky. I do videos about us using fork arm telescope. I would be interested in that as well, Klaus. Is that like that's always? I thought fork mounts are LS mounts, right? Or are there also equatorial fork mounts? James Heaney, you give me $10. I'm so happy with that, James. And thank you so much for sponsoring me. And like I said before, all the donations, they will go into more videos, making more videos, buying new astrophotography gear, and hopefully giving you some useful information as well. But I'm at the moment, I think I learn as much from you in the live streams as you are learning from me. And Gary, $20, man, Gary, thank you so much. I'm really grateful for that. Another great live stream, Wido. And yeah, Gary, you always tune in. Like I said before, you have always have very sharp comments. You teach me things actually, so I'm also very grateful that you are joining the live streams and also look at my videos. And so thank you very much, not only for the money but also for the comments and the suggestions. Um, Eta Carina Nebula, of course. I would say that that is the most famous nebula in the southern hemisphere. Ollie says, yes, just Aussie dollars, probably only €1. Ollie, I'm happy with every kind of feedback or donation. And so thank you very much. And the Carina Nebula would be the obvious one. Yeah. James Heaney says, yeah, I see all these great pictures online. Then look them up in Stellarium, and they never get above the horizon at my location. Yes, James. So then we have to migrate it. Sometimes I'm thinking about just. I know this. It's still in the northern hemisphere, but I know a lot of guys in the Netherlands, or a few, maybe three, and they decided on remote imaging. And actually, you have two types of remote imaging. You can, of course, just buy telescope time. Um, But that's not what they did. They actually went to Spain, to Extremadura. Is that Spanish? Extremadura is a province in the east of Spain, and they have a very dark border class 2 or 3 skies. And they actually drove down there and they set up their rig in some kind of garage, garage, I think. And so, yeah, it's completely remote. There are some people that take care of the equipment, so it is not cheap, I think. You have to pay quite a lot, but in return, they can remote image from that location. And I'm, wow. I think I have a couple of guys who wanted also to share some pictures on my Instagram account. I said, yeah, you can do that. So maybe in the future I will post some of them. But yeah, if you have border class 2 or 3 skies and you're great at post processing, you will end up with awesome pictures. So yeah, I cannot, uh, or at least I don't. At the moment, I cannot compete with that kind of border class 3 sky. I'm here at border class 8, and I'm happy. I also think it is kind of nice to have your own rig. You go outside, you set it up, you connect your gear, and you start. I don't know. It feels like you're really connected also to the sky and the things you're imaging. And I don't know if you have the same feeling when you are going to remotely image from a location. Um, Great to see. Yeah, I see all these great pictures online. Then look them up in Stellarium. Yeah, I already said it. I got a wedge for it. Ah, okay. Yeah, of course you can. If you have an altitude azimuth mount, you can buy an additional wedge. And of course, then you can have like, you can polar align your altitude azimuth mount. And that works a little bit. But my main issue would then still be that you probably cannot use PhD2 guiding. Or do you? I don't know. I really need also PhD2 guiding to get multi-minute exposures of deep space objects. Road trip to Australia, yeah. Now for me it would be a sea trip or a plane trip when the COVID ever ends. James, my brother lives in Costa Rica. Pura vida, they say in Costa Rica. I've been there once. It's super beautiful country. It has a lot of nature. They have volcanoes, active volcanoes. It's incredible. I'm very tempted to show up there with a couple of suitcases worth of gear. Yeah, James, you and me both. Yeah, yeah. Maybe we can do something in Costa Rica. I'm happy to look into that. Maybe set up a remote location there. Gary, I love the number of targets we have available here in Miami. A bit of the southern sky as well as the northern sky. So of course, you're close to the equator. Yeah, that is super nice. So I don't know. Can you see then Eta Carina, for instance, from Miami? What latitude is Miami at actually? I'm actually at 52 here in the Netherlands. Joanna Derenberg, that is I think Dutch, and she says, oh Joanna, oh Joanna, why don't you cry for me? Hey Gary, have you ever thought about coming to the Southern Cross Astronomical Society Star Party? Gary, I would love to. It's held in Florida Keys the last week of January. Great weather and clear skies. Thanks for the information. Actually, in Europe, we don't have as many star parties. I really noticed that in the US, that's really like a happening. There are a lot of star parties being organized where you can go to, and then you are all there on that location, sharing your information and just enjoying the night sky. We do have some very small astrophotography communities in the Netherlands, but you then usually end up with 5 to 10 people just gazing at the stars. So thanks for that information. I don't know. I've been once to Florida, and I don't know how I would get my rig there. Uh, but would be super nice, maybe with a mobile setup to join. Tim McCullen, why do you look so sleepy? Tim, yeah, because of personal issues I don't want to get into. And it's also 12:30 at night. So I'll probably also should end the stream soon because I need some sleep time. As I have to take care of my wife and my 2 daughters because unfortunately my youngest daughter has the coronavirus at the moment. So you are safe because I'm speaking from a laptop. Um, but I tested negative actually. So I also tested negative, but my oldest daughter also tested positive, and they don't have any complaints, or they don't have any of the symptoms, but they do have the virus. So they are keeping the whole classroom home. So they get homeschooling for 1 week, and then the whole class has to be tested again. And when they test all negative, they can come back to school. But it's a lot of hassle actually. But anyway, that's not astrophotography related. Hi, Wido, for $5 astrophotography 2. Just tuning in. Thanks again for featuring my images on last week's takeover. Oh, you were the first one. Hey, great, man. Thank you so much for sending your pictures, and thank you for participating on Takeover Tuesday. And thank you so much for the donation, of course. I will, like I said before, I will put that to use buying more astrophotography gear, of course, and making videos. So thank you so much for the donation, and thank you for participating in the Takeover Tuesday. And that is, maybe to be short, an initiative I just started. I thought it would be nice also because at first I was using the hashtag Night Sky Astoforum, NSASPO. And I got over, I think, 1,000 pictures that also included that hashtag. So I was pretty amazed by that. And some of these pictures, they are so great. They are better than my pictures, if I have to be honest. Some of them are not, but some of them are. And at the same time, I don't see that some of these astrophotographers have large followings. So I thought about starting Takeover Tuesday, so I would post pictures, maybe 2 or 3 pictures of those astrophotographers, and then refer to their Instagram account or Astrobin or a channel, maybe a YouTube channel, so that hopefully more people get to know their awesome work. Um, and Andy Lee was was a person who participated. Um, Gary, 25 degrees. Yeah, wow, that's a lot closer to the equator. Yeah, we got a big community in Denmark. Really? That's not so far from the Netherlands. We are about 20 to 30 every stargazing. Great. Stargazing event probably. Klaus, I might join you. Klaus, not vaccinated yet. Yeah, I am vaccinated. My wife and I are both vaccinated 2 times. Um, for me, it was Pfizer, and for my wife, it was Moderna. So yeah. So actually, we are not really worried about contracting corona. Hopefully, it will. If we will have, yeah, I tested negative. By the way, you still have to get tested, although you are vaccinated in the Netherlands. So that's the deal. But let's not talk about corona too much because you already see it on the news every day. Um, Anthony Graham says hi, Macarono. Macarono? I tried all live stacking apps. Nothing comes close to the good old Astro Toaster. Highly recommended. Okay, Astro Toaster. Interesting. I did some live stacking once in SharpCat. Never used Astro Toaster. Never heard of it. Eugene Munzinger. Good night and clear skies. Gotta go to bed now. Yeah. Good night, Eugene. I think. Munziger. Eugene Munziger. Anthony Graham. Still waiting for my C8. Been at Bordeaux Class 2 area for a couple of days. Whoa, what a different, what different view. Yeah, I have been to France for my holidays, on holiday. And in the south of France, they have also some Bordeaux Class 3 skies. And when you look up, it's incredible. You can see thousands of stars. And you can see like the slivers of the Milky Way. And we totally lost that in the Netherlands. So here in the city, I think I can see Jupiter and Saturn. That's about it. I think a little bit more, but I think we can see about 100 stars at Bordeaux Class 8 skies here. When you go outside the city, it's a little bit more, but yeah, if you go to a dark side, you're really, really amazed. The first time I went to a dark side was in Greece, where actually I stumbled upon a dark side in the Peloponnesos, or the Peloponnesos, I think you have to say. So in the south they have really dark skies. You can look out over the sea, and that's amazing. Oh, I'm getting a bit tired. Klaus says, John, same vaccines here with me, my wife and me. Yeah, Klaus, I think all across the world we have Moderna and Pfizer, right? And we also have the Sputnik, the Russian, but no, not a lot of people seem to take it. Um, Gary, have you ever tried using StarNet++ when processing? I use it to remove the star field. Yeah, I use it all the time. I think I came across it, I think half a year ago or something. Or it was like a half a year ago they integrated StarNet++ in PixInsight. And that is super awesome because you can just incorporate it in your PixInsight post-processing workflow. And usually the first thing I do now at the moment is first, of course, combining the images, creating the stacked images, and then combining them into a color image. And once I've done that, the first step I take is StarNet++. I try to separate the stars from the nebula. And most of the time, it looks good. Sometimes I have some issues, but it is a really, really, most of the times it delivers very good results. And then you can, of course, post-process the nebula a little bit more aggressively and everything. And then at the end, you incorporate your star picture into that final picture. And that saves really, for instance, there are some targets like the Wizard Nebula. you know that there is a super rich star field in front of the wizard or behind, I don't know. But anyway, if you can take out those stars and you can process these nebulas independently from the stars, it gives amazing results. Usually at Bortle 9, yeah. Anthony, I have the same thing. And Gary is at Bortle 9 too, so Miami is indeed Bortle 9. Sky. Took the horse head with no filter. Ooh. But Anthony, you took the horse head with no filter in your Bortle Class 9 or at the dark side? Because if I would take here a picture of the Horsehead Nebula without using my H alpha filter, it's low at above the horizon here in wintertime, I would get terrible results, unfortunately. You're welcome to come to Israel. We have Bortle 3 too, and it's amazing. Ori Levi, if I pronounce that correctly. Levi? Thanks for the invitation, Ori. Klaus, in Denmark we got Moen, which is known as a dark spot. The darkest spots in all EU. Oh, it's an island. Yeah. Yeah, we also have a couple of islands in the Netherlands, a little bit of the coast. That is actually a good tip. But you would need a boat to get there. Only problem is 43 degrees during day, say. Oh, yeah. 43 degrees Celsius, yeah. Then at night, I don't know if it cools down enough. Two-hand Duke, I agree, Wido. I spent the last 3 nights on a break near a dark sky site, and the sky was amazing. I was gutted that I did not take my telescope, so I had to use DSLR to catch some Milky Way shots. Yeah, two-hand Duke, I know the feeling. And actually, I was also I was there during in France. I was there at the dark side during the Perseids, I have to say. So I saw some amazing meteors there, and I wish I would have some higher quality gear to capture them. But stargazing can be fun too. So I laid down on the camping site together with my daughter, and we just looked at the sky and we saw some meteors, and she was completely surprised. She was shocked a little bit to see like these streaks of light across the sky. Johanna says, is it possible to view nebulas in your telescope when you live in the city? Johanna, yes, because what you are looking at, this is the Crescent Nebula, and that is a nebula in space. I don't know, hundreds or thousands of I think thousands of light years from our Earth. And it is possible to take pictures from it in the city, and the way you can do it is by using light pollution filters and narrowband filters. So when you use certain kind of filters, you can block out the light pollution coming from the city, and you can still capture light signal coming from space. And I have a video on filters. So if you check out my channel, I have a kind of an introductory video on filters where I also explain like you have the light spectrum and different parts of the light spectrum can be blocked using different filters. I use the L Extreme. Yeah, Anthony, that is a very popular filter indeed. My next trip to Europe, I will make it a point to visit the Starry Skies Park, Bieszczady, in Poland. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's said to be the best dark sky in Europe. Gary, I've been to Poland, and I did see some very, very dark skies there. And they have, I think, in the eastern part of Poland, they have this. I don't know how it's translated, how you can translate it, but they have this dark forest or some like ancient forest. and there's no one living there. There's basically no village or no city there, so you would have perfect nights there. Yeah. Um, so great. Guys and girls, I think I'm going to end the live stream because I do have to take care of my little daughters tomorrow. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. I didn't expect there to be so many people on a Tuesday night, an unplanned session. So great! I learned a lot from your comments. I hope you also learned a little bit something from what I had to say here, and most importantly, I saw that you were helping each other out in the live stream. So that's really awesome to see. So yeah, whenever we have clear skies and I'm set up, I try to do some live sessions so we can get into a conversation with one another. So, for those of you who are imaging tonight, I hope you have some excellent skies, and I hope you end up with some good quality pictures to process. And yeah, thank you so much for joining, and see you later. Bye bye. Clear skies, of course. Here we are. Bye bye.